It's a brand new year. We have fresh curriculum, fresh supplies, maybe even fresh clothes. But how fresh is our focus? If you're new here, I'm Rian, a Christ-following wife and a homeschool mom to 3 boys. Here we talk all things homeschool, and we will learn together how to use our roles as wife, mom, teacher, and homemaker in order to glorify God. It can be so easy at the beginning of a new school year to get so wrapped up in getting the perfect schedule laid out, making sure you make just the right curriculum choices, getting all the field trips planned out, making sure you have everything ready to go for co-op and all the friend outings that you're going to have, that we sometimes forget to step back, think about the big picture, and think, what do I want to focus on this year? By the end of the year, what goals do I want to have met? This is a collaboration with my friend Ashley over at Joyful Noise Learning, and she is such a sweet and dear friend. You definitely need to check her channel out if you haven't already. But this is with a bunch of mamas who are all just sharing what their goals and their vision and their focus is for this upcoming school year. So check out Ashley's channel and the playlist down below after this video. So confession time. I'm a terrible goal setter. For as much as I love planning and I love schedules and I love writing down all these great things that I want to do for the day, I am really bad at long-term goals. I am really bad at sitting down. I have friends who do this quarterly, friends that do this every 6 weeks, and they sit down and they're just like, oh, here are my goals. And then they check back and they actually consider, have I met this goal? And what can I do to meet this goal if I didn't meet it? And they break it down into, oh, here's my goal, and now here's my actionable steps that I'm going to take to meet this goal. And I love all this, but I stink at it. I am so bad at that. But I definitely, for sure, see the benefit in it. Because if you are just kind of wandering around aimlessly, like, oh, this needs to be done, oh, that needs to be done, and just kind of attending to things as they're coming at you, but you don't really have a goal or a finish line in sight that you're aiming for, you're never really going to go anywhere, right? And you're definitely not going to go where you intended to. So instead of doing those monthly goals or those quarterly goals or whatever, I think for me, it works best if I just, at the beginning of the year, think, what is my focus? What do I really need to work hard toward in every day? Now, of course, there's going to be just the normal mundane stuff that we have to do every day. But in the back of my mind, what do I want to really be thinking about? What end line do I want to be picturing? And making sure that each day, even through the mundane things, we're kind of aiming toward that spot. And for me, as I've been thinking about this the past few weeks and really considering what our school year might look like, there's a lot of things that are going to be different this year, which I really didn't think that would happen after 2020. I'm like, 2020 is the year when everything's screwed up. 2021, we're going to have this in the bag. And no, we don't. So things are still going to look different even from last year. So the one thing that keeps coming to mind as I reflect on what I want this year to be, I just keep thinking it is my year to major on the majors and minor on the minors. So if you're new here, you haven't heard yet, I have a baby coming in November. And so anytime you add another baby, I mean, I don't know, maybe some of you with 8, 10 kids feel differently, but it kind of rocks your world for a little bit. This will be my 4th, and every time my world's been a little rocked. And so I'm trying to kind of preemptively prepare for that. And I am adding a 3rd child into our homeschool rotation. I will have a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, and a preschooler. He's starting official preschool this year. And I know some of you will write me hate mail saying 3-year-olds don't need preschool, but it's what we've chosen to do, and I'm sticking to it. So I know that this year is going to be crazy. I know that, our co-op's not going to look the same. I know that every field trip we have could get totally flipped upside down depending on what the CDC says next week, right? So I'm just going to focus on the majors this year. Now, what that looks like as far as practically, I've got to have a lighter load this year. I mean, I just have to, because once baby gets here, like I said, it kind of rocks my world for a minute. I do deal with some postpartum issues just about every time. I'm hoping this time that the Lord spares us, but if he doesn't, he'll be faithful through it, and that's okay too. But the very wise thing to do is to lighten our load. So there's a lot of extracurriculars that we have done pretty much every year that we're not going to really hit on this year. And I'm discovering that that's okay. My type A personality says it's not okay. Says you better get every single subject in every single year. But I, in public school, didn't do that. So I think I'll be okay. I think my kids will be okay. So there's a few things that we're cutting that are just kind of the extras that I really enjoy and I really think are important, and we'll get back to them, but this is not the year for them. So we're going to simplify our schedule. Another way that we're doing that is we are taking our teacher intensive language arts and switching it up. I have a video on what we're using for my third grader, which is kind of a shocker to me. But we're taking that teacher intensive curriculum and going with something different that is less work on me. So my older son will be doing video lessons, and I will have to grade his papers and, help him a little bit here and there, but it's a lot less time of me actually teaching or lecturing. And for my third grader, he's going to be going to a lot more simple condensed curriculum, which I'm hoping is a good fit, and I hope I don't regret it, but we'll see. Another thing we're doing is just mainstreaming our schedule. Just saying, here's the things we need to get done today, making a priorities list, and anything extra is great, but if we don't get to it, it's fine. If we get Bible and language arts and math done, we've done okay. Now, of course, I want to do Sunlight every single day because I love it, and it is part of our Bible, but that's where our history lies too, and I want to get science done. But if those things aren't getting hit every single day, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. And I'm also scheduling in breaks. With all my other kids, I kind of had the expectation that I needed to be up and around and going a week after giving birth. Like, just get back to normal, it's fine. And it's not always fine. And so I've scheduled out, a chunk of time when I am not allowing myself to do any school. I will give my kids some books to read. I'll give them some board games and some puzzles and some coloring sheets and just say, have fun and let them play and do their thing. We'll watch some documentaries, right? So I have some time where I am telling myself, and some of y'all might have to keep me accountable. I'm telling myself, no, this is not school time. This is Mama resting, us getting used to the new baby. That's what we're doing. And then I've blocked off our typical Christmas time, but those things are kind of like butting up against each other. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm giving myself permission, depending on how I feel, to just merge those together. If by the end of my chunk of time that I'm taking for maternity leave at home with all my kids, if that chunk of time, by the end of that chunk of time, if I'm still just like, I'm not ready, then we won't go back to school until the new year, and it will be fine. We'll get our hours in. We might have to go a little later next summer, but we like year-round homeschooling anyway, so it doesn't matter. And we'll just take the entire month of December and do fun Christmassy things and watch a lot of Christmas movies and bake food and have fun. And I'm actually wanting to have more of like an actual rest Sabbath during the month of December. I don't know about the whole month of December, but like I said, if I'm just not feeling it, that's what we'll do. We will, set the normal books aside and we'll just read lots of good, rich books, and we'll do all the Christmas things and just relax in the season. And that's going to take a lot of flexibility. That's going to take a lot of me killing that type A little voice that's saying you have to get it done every day. But we're just gonna have to be flexible. That's just gonna be part of it. So the less, practical side of how I'm going to major on the majors is I'm going to have to, in my mind and in my heart, intentionally make the most important things the most important. And I'm just not talking about our curriculum. I said earlier, if we get Bible, math, and language arts done, we've had a great day. Yes, I am going to be doing that. However, I'm talking about within our relationships and within how we function as a family. So I want to super focus in on our Bibles. I want to increase my kids' ability to find things in the Bible and teaching them how to understand things in the Bible. And I'll be right there alongside them. I mean, we've never reached perfect Bible knowledge, right? So we're going to be working this out together. I want to just be in our word more this year because that is focusing on the majors, right? I want to see spiritual growth in me and in all my children this year. And so being in God's word, being intentional in prayer every day is how we're going to accomplish that. I want to see the relationships between all of my kids grow. I want to see the relationship between my children and me grow. I want to see the relationship between them and their friends grow this year. I want to have intentional time with friends that we know and love dearly and just have that real time with them and not just, oh, we'll squeeze you in when we can, but I want to make room for them. I want to make space for them in our lives. Along those same lines, another way I'm going to major on the majors this year is I want to take my kids out in the real world and really learn about serving, really learn about hospitality. This is an area that I've always struggled in. It's something that I see such joy in, and I see how effective it is when someone invites you into their home and really sits and listens to you over a meal and sits and, speaks truth and speaks life into you. It changes you. I've been the recipient of that. And this year I want to be the giver of that, and I want to involve my kids in that. So we want to really just focus on the major thing of loving others, whether that's outside shoveling snow off sidewalks this winter, or whether that is, having people in our home and sharing meals and doing real life with them. We want to do more of that this year. And lastly, I want to really hit on character this year. It's something that we're always, kind of constantly doing in our children, but I've just seen some major character flaws in them and in me. In my last video, I talked about how they are your mirrors. And so I just really want to hone in on those and address those with scripture and really be diligent about taking active steps toward nipping those ugly character traits in the bud and building up those good, biblically sound character traits that we want to see, that good fruit of the Spirit that we want to cultivate. I want to really, really focus in on that this year. So by the end of the year, yes, I want to see my kids flourishing academically. What mom doesn't, right? I don't want them to be behind, of course. I want them to have accomplished, what they needed to for their academics. But more so, I want to see them grow in their relationships with the Lord, in their relationships with me and each other. I want to see them grow in good moral character. I want to see them grow in love and serving and hospitality toward others. And I want to see the relationships between them and their friends grow and mature. And I want to do all this hands-on in real life. And so even if during that time, like I said, we end up taking the maternity leave and it just kind of bleeds into Christmas, well, that's a whole lot of weeks that we may not be doing hardcore schoolwork, but you better believe we can still be working on those things. We can still be reading our Bibles every day and digging in deep to God's word and working on our character. All of that can happen without me putting in a lot of, academic hours with them. So at the end of the year, I want to look back and know, okay, we've obeyed the Lord, joyfully obeyed the Lord, and we did our best to glorify him with each and every day. And that'll be enough. That'll be enough for this year, because that is the major that I want to major on, and let the minors be the minors. So at the beginning of the year, your goals can be very concrete. Maybe you're like, this year, I just really want to finish a math program. I've never finished a math curriculum the whole time I've been homeschooling, and that's what I want to do this year. If that's you, that's great. That is a great goal to set. Maybe you want to read 10 books with your kids this year. Maybe you really stink at reading aloud and you want to get better, so you set a goal to read 10 books this year with your children. That's an amazing goal. Or maybe your goal is a little less concrete, like mine is. You just want to freshen up your focus. You want to maybe zoom in on something that you haven't before and you think it's time to. But no matter what, setting goals and, setting your focus in on what you want to accomplish is a very good thing. And I encourage you to do that this year. Even if you've already started the school year, there's no time like the present to really focus in on what do I want to see by the end of the year. So let me know in the comments down below, what is your focus or one of your goals for this year? And don't forget to check out Ashley's channel and the playlist down below to find out a bunch of other mama's goals for the year. My next video is a biblical womanhood video all about our words and the power that they carry. I thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.